What's up everyone, Voan here today, and can you believe it? I have been eating breakfast for the last few weeks now. Eating Honey Nut Cheerios here, and guess what? It actually gives you free stuff now. It has been a long time since I eat cereals for breakfast, and going back to it really takes me back to a time when eating cereals were interesting. And it seems that yeah, getting free stuff on cereal nowadays, yeah, really brings me back in the old times when I was still eating cereals. And pretty much a lot of exciting things for me back at the time about eating cereals is usually with cereals you tend to look for the ones that have a lot of surprises in there. Sometimes it has surprises without telling you, and sometimes it does. So in this case with Honey Nut Cheerios here, by the way, great cereals. But yeah, if you eat Honey Nut Cheerios or any of the other General Mills brand cereals out there, chances are you might get some surprises like this Batman versus Superman comic book. It's not really a hardcore style comic books, but it's actually some kind of comic book that they put in there to advertise the movie. Now me, I have not seen the movie yet, so if you guys saw the movie already, you don't have to tell me about it. I'll check that out once, either at the theaters or maybe once they have like DVD or Blu-ray versions of it. But yeah, I haven't went to the movies theater in a while now, so I try to avoid spending too much at the movie. So I usually gonna wait for the DVD or Blu-rays, and it's nice that cereals gives you a lot of surprises on their boxes nowadays too. I mean, literally, I have been eating Honey Nut Cheerios for the past few weeks, and guess what? I have been getting these really good comic books too. I have all, not all of them, but like almost all of them now. There's actually like 4 issues of these comic books, and I actually got up to all number 3. I mean, they have been having like these neat little full color comic books, so that's really great. I mean, you have the privilege to actually go and like have surprises for your breakfast. It's really good. I actually love that cereal is still doing this. I mean, I haven't ate cereal since 20 years ago now. So that's a long time. I have been away from cereals. I mean, it's actually like been a long time. The last time I eat cereal was back at the time when I was still in high school and stuff. So nowadays, eating breakfast to me is like maybe at the fast food place, or maybe I cook up my own stuff. But going back to cereals and still seeing that they do stuff like this is really good. I mean, just check out these, man. I have been eating them a lot, but I've been getting the same issues too. So, same issues of these comic books. It was nice that cereals are still doing this. But anyways, enough about the cereal stuff. I mean, I'm sure that you can still find a lot of cereals with surprises to them, like back in the 90s or 80s. But yeah, Honey Nut Cheerios, man, and General Mills. It's glad that they're still doing this. I mean, free comic books for your breakfast. Who wouldn't want that, right? Anyways, enough of those comic books. Now, what really is the subject here is this. Today we're gonna unbox and review and test what's inside this little box here. Basically, you already know it's a PlayStation TV. So, and the PlayStation TV, as you know it, is Sony's version of a micro console. It's basically their only micro console that they'll try to attempt to make indirect answer to a lot of the other micro console out in the market, like the Amazon Prime TVs and the Ouya's and all those stuff. Fortunately, those are the only two I know about, but I'm sure there's a lot of them too. A lot of those Android consoles are like all over the place now. It's kind of like the Steam machine too, if you know what it is. But anyways, yeah, the PlayStation TV. Now, Sony already announced that they're not gonna make any more stock of these anymore. So what you see at the store is what's left over there. So once those are gone, PlayStation TV is not gonna be sold at retails anymore. So if you don't buy it now, then you're probably never gonna buy it. Never gonna buy it at retail at all. So yeah, let's unbox these and see what's inside now. On the very top of the box, yeah, as you can tell, there's a whole lot of junks in there already. I mean, a whole lot of items. And some are good, some are not. But up here on the very top here, you got the micro consoles, and if you notice, really small, huh? Let's take it out of this little pouch here. I mean, this is Sony's answer to all the other stuff. I mean, this is basically a very small micro console. I'm surprised that it's actually this small. I mean, just look at it. It's almost it's actually the same or almost equivalent to the same size to that of a Genesis cartridge. I mean, just look at it. They're basically almost the same size. Just like that, man. And that is cool. Now, yeah, maybe the PlayStation TV is actually much smaller than a Genesis cartridge, if you could say that. So that's really cool right there. The fact that it's really small means that you can actually take it with you. So I'm actually glad that they make that transition. Also, yeah, this micro console to a lot of people is basically just a Vita without the screen. So yeah, all of the guts and stuff of the Vita is already in here. What you really don't get is the screens and all the features of the screen. So yeah, so if you look at that, it's really small. It doesn't really have any advanced spectacular features to it. So what you really get is a micro console that really has general features to it. So you got the power plugins, you got the Ethernet cables for you to wire hook up to this thing to the internet. So this will if you have very slow Wi-Fi, then you can pretty much use that wire connection options to do the trick if you want. It has an HDMI port, so you can plug it to your TV and play this on the big screen. Fortunately, you have to. That's pretty much the point. This is to deliver all your Vita actions on the big screen. So, and here you have a USB ports. Now, this USB port is pretty much used for charging your controllers and syncing the controllers. So basically, you can only use a PlayStation DualShock 3 or 4 controllers to play this. So that's pretty much all you can use for it. Any other USB controller, however, is not gonna be compatible. So third-party controllers, yeah, they're not gonna work. PC controllers, maybe all of those USB, all those USB controllers, not gonna work. You got your memory card slot here. So yeah, so it takes the same proprietary memory cards to that of your Vita. So as you can look, I already have a 32 gig memory cards in there. Yeah, I just got this. So yeah, the 32 gig. When this came, it came with an 8 gig memory card, so I replaced it with this 32 gig one. And that way I can download more stuff to this device too. So that's really good. And that goes right there. On the side here, you got your PlayStation Vita cartridge slots right here. So this will allow you to play some of your PlayStation Vita games. So if you want to open that, you just take one of your fingernails and just pull that out. So all your PlayStation Vita cartridge games will go on this side. So that's really cool. That's basically what the console has. It's very small, compact. It has some general features that you could mess around with, and you can play your Vita games on it too if you want. I'll talk more about the features later on after this unboxing, and during the testing we'll see what stuff will work on it and don't work on it. Anyways, other things inside the box of this PlayStation TV. If we take this out, yeah, I don't have that cover that shows all the great advertising stuff. I only get this white box, so I bought it like a few weeks ago and kind of lost that thing. So the white box is pretty much what you see. But other things inside this box is these instruction manuals and pamphlets and other stuff. As you can see there, that's the 8 gig PlayStation Vita memory card. So this is the second one. The other one was still my PlayStation Vita. So pretty soon, right now I'm pretty much switching the 32 gig memory card in between the two platforms. Don't really bother with the 8 gig ones anymore. So might sell that for a good price later on too. But other things inside here, you get a PlayStation Vita instruction memory card booklet, perhaps. Tells you a lot about those memory cards. Here you got a quick start guide, pretty much your average instruction on how to hook up your PlayStation TV. And here you got this PlayStation Remote Play instruction thing. Anyways, I did not bought this for remote play though. A lot of people do, but me, I simply bought this because I thought that it was an interesting product and it would be really great to play all my PSP and PlayStation Vita games on the TV. So pretty much bought this for that exact reason. But other things inside this box here, you get all these wire and yeah, they're pretty much different wires. So this wire right here allows you to hook up your DualShock 3 or DualShock 4 controllers to the PlayStation TV, so you can charge those controllers. Or if you want, you could hook up your PlayStation Vita and charge that to the PlayStation TV as well. So if you plug it like that, on the Vita, and then if you want, you can just take this and plug it to the USB ports like that, and there you go. You can charge your PlayStation Vita via this thing if you want. But at the same time, you could take this same wire and then take that controller that came with this. Now, people got the PlayStation 3 DualShock controllers. This did not come with the console. I bought this separately, but I put it in there simply for convenience purpose. But you can still use this to charge your PS4 controller in there too. So you plug it like that. And these controllers really, it really took a while for them to actually connect. So just had to connect them very, very good. So like that. So you can sync this to play on your Vita TV at the same time, and use it to play all the games that are in there too. And as I say, the DualShock PlayStation 4 controller works really well. This touchpad can be used as an alternative for the touchscreen if you want to. And some of the other games that were on the PlayStation Vita that uses touch features and compatibilities, they do take advantage of this touchpad right here. The only thing is that games that use the rear touchpad, the PS4 controller does not have a rear touch feature, so you can't use those games. Fortunately, you can't even play those games. So I'll show that later. I'll show more about that later too. The kind of weird part to me about this PlayStation TV is that even though you could connect this USB cables to the PlayStation Vita, you can't really use the PlayStation Vita. This one, you can't really use the PlayStation Vita as a alternative as a controller for that thing right there. So it'll be really, really awesome if Sony allows you to use this as a controller rather than the DualShock 4, because the reason why the compatibility sucks on this thing is because it doesn't allow you to use the touchscreen and the touchpad, and the cameras and stuff too, and the gyroscope and thing. So if only Sony could allow you to use this, then the PlayStation TV would have been golden. But it's too bad they didn't do that. I mean, I don't know if it was purposely intended not to do that, or maybe Sony just purposely doesn't do it because they don't want a consumer to get the full benefits. Whatever the reason, it's basically Sony's loss. Yeah, so that's the wire that connects your cable, your controllers and Vita to this thing. And here's the HDMI cable that came out of the box too. So it was nice that they finally gave us HDMI cable. If you have noticed, the PS3, which they launched back in the days of 2006 and stuff, did not came with HDMI cable. So yeah, nowadays you can get these for a cheap price. So everything nowadays came with HDMI cable, so that's good. Other things inside the box here is your power adapter. It's pretty much the same exact power adapter that came with your PS4 or PS3 or PS2 or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty much have the same hookup too. I'm glad that like all of Sony products from there on out, they allow you to use the plug that looks like this rather than what Nintendo and Sega was doing back in the 90s where it came with a brick. So yeah, so that's the whole unboxing of this micro console here. So let's go and take this for a test drive and see all of the feature we have for it, as you know. Okay guys, so here we have the PlayStation TV already hooked up and all stuff, and it's already on. So here we got the PlayStation 4 controller, the DualShock 4, already hooked up to this thing, so we can use it to navigate this menu here. It's pretty much the same menu of what you'll find on the PlayStation Vita. So in Japan, this thing is called the PlayStation Vita TV. So basically you get a PlayStation Vita on the TV. That's great. It has these menu with all these bubbly icons. So everything that you install into or put in this system will appear like these. You have like different screens for each of those icons. So there are basically like 10 icons per menu here. So here you got, this is for your PlayStation Store, so you can go here and buy anything that's available for this PlayStation TV. So I already have some games already in there. Here's your browser, your on and off switch if you're too lazy to turn it on and off on the hardware itself. But yeah, if you want to turn it on and off, this button will do the trick. Here you have all your party features that you can party chats and all that stuff. Your messaging, same thing as the same messaging that was on your phone or anything. I don't really use it that much, but it's there. I don't have that many friends with all my products, so what was here is already here. I do have some, but not all. Here's the trophies that will show you all the trophies you unlock for some of your games. These options allow you to remote play or link your data stuff from your PlayStation 4. So if you want to remote play with PS4, these options will do the trick. Here's the options for all your videos that you can upload on this thing. So the only video I have here is a trailer of Samurai Showdown. So I mean, if you look at it, you basically load you. It only accepts MP4, so all your video has to be MP4 to make them work. So if you go to all, you can tell, yeah, if you have MP4 videos like this, then you can watch a nice little short versions of the trailers or videos that you made for it. So this is an HD intro to that of Samurai Shodown Sins. One of the games that I was planning to get for the Xbox 360, but didn't have the fun to get it yet. It's a really nice little trailer. It shows the graphical capability of this device too. kind of like a visual HD remix of the original, huh? This intro alone makes that game look good. So there it is. That's a nice little... That's how your video quality will look like in this PlayStation TV here. So yeah, that's the video quality. So if you want to exit out of apps, all you gotta do is press the PlayStation buttons. So it'll take you to one of these screens, and these are your PlayStation Live screens. So in the PlayStation Vita, all you had to do is just use the touch screen and swipe this page away. But since you don't have touch feature here, all you gotta do is hold the circle button here, and it'll do the same thing. So that's really good. You have the music option here if you upload all your favorite music in this thing. This is your calendar, your email, your photo options if you want to show the world all your nice little pictures. Here's the content manager that allows you to save all your data direct to your PC and back. So I already have all my PlayStation Vita data in here. Send it to the PC, which is the reason why you see all the stuff you see here on the PlayStation TV now. I sent all the same data from the PC back to this thing. So all of these are the same stuff that you saw on my PlayStation Vita. Parental control, I hardly ever use this, considering that this console is only used by me and only me, and some of my brothers too. But we don't have kids. We don't have kids here anymore, so we don't have to worry about parental controls. Here we got the setting options. This game has this advertising bubble here for FIFA 15. So I don't have the game for this. So if you're trying to play it, it'll tell you you need the actual game to play it. So I'm not a fan of FIFA, so I don't really care if I have the game for that or not. Sooner or later I'll delete these two. Here you have your Skype application. I got this from my PS Vita as well. Live from PlayStation. This will allow you to go live and check out all the people who are on PlayStation Network right now. And here we have all the games. So these are all of the physical copy of games that I got for this. You got Tales of RR, Mortal Kombat 9, DOA 5, Rayman Legends, Final Fantasy X, Ninja Gaiden, Street Fighter Cross Tekken here, Muramasa, and here you got all of your digital games too. So you can play games like Metal Slug X, the PS1 original, Maverick Hunter X, Suikoden 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. I have this game physically on the PSP. Darkstalkers Chronicles, also on the PSP. I don't have it yet, but planning to. But this game is really good. You saw me test it on my PlayStation Vita a while ago, so it's great that you can play this on this thing. Legend of Mana, Blaze Blue, Geometry Wars Dimension, a fun little game. T-Cross K, Final Fantasy X-2, Minecraft. I actually got this so that all of my other folks could play it. They really love Minecraft, but I don't really. It's not really my thing. I just happen to put it there so that whenever they come, they can enjoy it. I also got it on my Vita too, so that's good. Netflix, it works on the Vita. It doesn't work on this thing though. So if you try to access it, Sony will give you this message telling you that it's not gonna work. And they probably will not let it work, so that's one value down the drain. If you bought this just for the Netflix feature, you're not gonna get it. Here you got another game, you got Lumens, and you got Borderlands 2, which came with my PS Vita bundle, so that's good. So let's test some games out of this thing. I already have Final Fantasy X in there. So if you some of these PlayStation Vita games, if I could show you these kind of PlayStation Vita games, so games like Final Fantasy X-2 here, Lumens, and Muramasa, as well as this one, Dead or Alive 5, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Now all of these games will work on the PlayStation TV, considering that they don't use the touchscreen or the touchpad for anything, so they'll work just fine. But if we test later games like these ones, I mean Mortal Kombat 9, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Rayman Legends, the 2 Ninja Gaiden games, yeah, these games will not work with the PlayStation TV. So why it doesn't work, I don't get it, but it should have worked, and for some reason Sony just doesn't allow it to work because they have those minor touch features. Some of them actually took advantage of the touchscreen and touchpad, but some of them are pretty much just use those for minor features, like Mortal Kombat 9, where you hardly ever use those touch stuff at all. It's basically for those mini games, and I just don't get why they block that game from working. I really want to enjoy this on the big screen, and for some reason they don't allow that, so that's a downer for me with that game. But for the game that does work, it looks like this. So if you plug a game that works, I found Final Fantasy X HD Remaster here. Yeah, it actually does work, and it works. It looks exactly how it looked on the PS2. Actually better than the PS2, I could say. So if you want to play Final Fantasy X HD on a TV, your choice is either the PS3 version or this version. And for me, I only bought this version because of 2 things. 1, it's portable, and 2, it's on a cartridge. So the very fact that it's on a cartridge means that I could play this game 20 years from now and it'll still be good. Having disc-based version of this game is not that reliable for me, so which is one of the reasons I bought this and not the PS3 version. And I already had this on the PS2, so I don't really need a reason to buy multiple copy of this game. So let's play ourselves some Final Fantasy X here. Now I don't really got fired in this game yet, but I'll show you how the battle looks like. Seems like somebody's doing fireworks outside, huh? I don't know if those are gunshots or fireworks, but kind of sound like fireworks. But here's the game. So yeah. So if we walk around, you can take a look at all the nice little HD features, HD graphics, and all that stuff. And there it is, the same broken screen that you have been seeing for ages now. So let's play this for a while and see how it fares. Yeah, so that's Final Fantasy X. Basically how you would play like if you play on this thing. So there's no problem with Final Fantasy X on this. Let's try out other games. If you want to enhance or do any configurations with the touch stuff or the control stuff in here, all you have to do is hold the home buttons, and then it will take you to this screen. And this screen will have you options to use any controllers or to turn the touch feature on or off. So if you want to turn the touch feature on and off, you can just check this, uncheck it if you don't want it. And if you don't want it, then games that have touch feature in them, the minor features of those, will not work. But if you turn it on, then they will work, and you have access to those too. But for not all of the games with touch functionality will work with this. Touch functionality, gyro features, and camera features will not work. So that's one other thing that Sony did not implement. It would be really great if they just let us use the Vita for all of these, but it's kind of sad that they don't. But yeah, that's pretty much how you access this window here. So that's Luminous. So we can take Luminous out and let's plug in another game that might work on it. So next game we're gonna try, Muramasa. So I already bought all the DLC for this game, and I have to say they play really good. But this is pretty much the same game that was on the Wii, except it has a lot of those extra DLC that you could buy for for your bucks there. But yeah, this is Muramasa Rebirth. Play this on the PlayStation Vita and you'll be wow with all the artworks and graphics of this game. This game is really good. It looks really fantastic here. So Cryware. So if you download the DLC packs and all that stuff, you get Genroku Legends here. So Genroku Legends is all the DLC stories of all those other characters. But yeah, if you check that out, it'll take you to that other games. So this is Genroku Legends. So let's play some Genroku Legends and see how it does. Now this is not available on the Wii, so you'll never get these on the Wii at all. And which makes this one a much better buy. So Fishy Tales of the Nico something. So as you can tell, you're playing as this Catwoman here. And I'm glad that this time they actually have a jump button instead of how the Wii got where they don't have a jump buttons. Fortunately, I don't really like the beginning of this chapter though. This Catwoman isn't as fun to play as those other two main characters. But it is a nice little breath of fresh air that you get to play new characters here. Yeah, look at all that beautiful visual there, huh? Looks really good, huh? Take that other screen away. Doesn't really have any touch functionality to it too, so it's really really good to play. So to enter these, you have to press X and get all these nice little goodies inside. So here's the world map. You could travel to one location after another, according to all these chapters that you're gonna play. So here we reach a new locations. So yeah, let's see how the battle system goes. So we're actually fighting all these creatures here. Just had to power up all your weapons and experience here. So you'll be stuck inside this one little matchup here until all of the enemies are killed. Some of them are kind of tough and some of them are not that so, but yeah, once you kill all the enemies, then you get all your experience and all that stuff. So it's not really like an actual. It's more like a fighting game inside an RPG. So you really have to travel all over the place to kill these things. And this character is not really that powerful to kill creatures like this yet. I'm just coming here to show you how it does. Come on, you creature. How come you don't die? So I killed that one already. As you can tell, instead of changing weapons, this character actually changed forms. So that's one interesting thing about it. We still have one enemy to kill. And I just don't like her cat form here, because the cat form is really weak compared to her human form. She also has a bigger cat form in this too, which is her really strong form, but that one will take a while to get used to. Man, how many are these things? Also, this game does not have multiplayer, so you'll be playing this all by yourself, just like the Wii version. So there it is. We beat all of them. Took kind of a long time, but at least we did it. So that's Muramasa right there. So it basically is the same game as the Wii. So now let's take a look at other games. So let's take Muramasa out, and this time we'll check a fighting game. So Dead or Alive 5. Now this game is basically a enhanced port of the PS3 and 360 version, and the arcade version as well. So it actually is a better version of those games. But in terms of quality, visuals and all that stuff, it's not on par though. It's kind of there, but not really all that gorgeous compared to those versions. So we play that. If you look at it, it loads too. This game does not have that many touch functionality, so you can play it however you like. It basically is a much inferior version to the recently released Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. So that one has more character than this, but at least this one is still enjoyable. So that's basically, here's basically the menu. So let's go with one of the fights, and we can play a little bit of arcade mode here. So you got Rookie, Easy, Normal, Hard, Champ, True Fighter, Master, Legend. Man, those are some very weird and creative difficulty for this kind of game. I'm pretty sure that Easy and Rookies are the same difficulty. Fortunately, I always go to Normal. Normal is pretty much the average of all of those. So got all these characters. Not as many as the console version that just came out, but it is a decent little fighters. A much more diverse cast than what was on DOA Dimensions that I have. So yeah, I'll choose this Chinese girl, Lei Feng. Lei Feng has always been my favorite, so ever since DOA 2. And she has like 3 costumes. So let's play her with the white one. And she really has a nice little costume there. And let's see how the fight engine plays like in this little game here. Ah, there he goes. Look at that. That's a Pai Chan from Virtual Fighter. So we actually have some guest character in this game too. And a lot of those stages does have hazards as well, so you just have to watch out for those. You could take advantage of them, or you could avoid them. Usually there are times where I take advantage of those. Oh man, Pai Chan is she is very difficult to kill. She is as difficult as what she was in Virtual Fighter 2 and 3 and 4. I guess normal mode is really that tricky too. Man, that is really awesome right there. I love all these hazard stuff. I pay more attention to the hazard stuff than the character. I was enjoying all those hazard stuff. I wasn't expecting to lose to Pai Chan twice. That's how the gameplay engine is. So if you go to select course, you can play another stage too, instead of at that same place, I think. Or you can pick another characters if you want. But that's how a fighting game plays like on this thing. So now let's try another game that does not work on this thing. So we already tried the one that works. Let's try the one that does not work, like Mortal Kombat 9 here. As you can tell, Mortal Kombat 9 is already in there. That's the icon, but we still need the game to be in there to make it work. So if you try to play without the game, like that other game we tried before, you need to insert the cartridge. So it really needs the cartridge for it to actually accept the game. But even if you insert the games, however, if the Vita TV does not accept it, it will not play. So we got Mortal Kombat in there right now. So this time the cartridge. So if you try to play it and if it's not supported, you get this thing, this message. So this application cannot be used with this system. If this application is supported by the PlayStation TV, update the applications. Fortunately, it was not supported because Sony purposely does not want you to play this game. Because if they do want you to play it, you'll be using this instead on this thing. So, bad for Sony for that, huh? So, Mortal Kombat is out of the questions. And I'm sure that all of these other games are out of the question too. So, I have literally 11 games and 5 of them does not work on this thing. So that's a really big bummer on that part. It will be really great if I could play all of them. And speaking of playing all of them, there is an exploit. Somebody out there already found ways to make all of these games work on the PlayStation TV. But to do it, you have to be at the earliest firmware update. So I already update this thing to the latest one now, so I probably won't be able to try the exploit. Not only that, but when Sony did found out about that exploit, they released another firmware update which prevents you from making it work. So in other words, they don't want you to play every one of these games on your PlayStation TV. Now that's one thing that I have a problem with, considering that you want to play your legitimate purchase Vita game on this thing, and everything that you try, that exploit is not something illegal. I mean, that exploit merely allows you to play your legitimate game on the legitimate system. And for Sony to not allow you to play your legitimate game on this legit system is a bad downer on their part. It's literally an inferior product. So I just don't get why Sony had that problem with some of these games. I mean, I know that touch functionalities and gyro features and camera features and all that stuff are problematic when using these controllers, but surely enough, there's no reason why they can't find ways to make this thing works. And if they could do that, that'd be great. But considering that they already discontinued the PlayStation TV already, then there's a slim chance that this thing will ever take off the way we want it. So all of your Vita games were not gonna work with this thing. The ones that does work will work very well, but compared to the console versions of the same game, the console version is already have you covered. So if you have the console version, there's no reason for you to get inferior versions of these games to play it on. So, but if you can play PSP classics like this Mega Man Maverick Hunter X game here. So it's actually really good. It's different from the Super Nintendo version. Basically, it's a remake, but with all of those, all of the stuff at different location now.
Capcom.
So Capcom really did a nice job with this game.
Mega Man Maverick Hunter X.
So if we continue. Alright, so here it is. Here's the Mega Man Maverick Hunter X screen here, where you can choose to fight any boss you like. So let's go to Flame Mama stage and see how it looks like. Considering that I already beat Chill Penguin stage already, his stage has been altered. So that's a good thing. All those altering of stages are still in this game. So I beat Chill Penguin stage, so this stage should be frozen. And as you can see, it really does froze. So the lava has been frozen now. Now this stage will be much more difficult have you not beat it, have you not beat the other stage yet. But that's the one sweet thing about Mega Man X here. All the stage got altered depending on your result of the previous stage. The only thing I don't like about this is that they took these 3D stuff to a whole new levels. And to me, I just don't like the polygonal look of X here. If anything, I love those 2D sprites much better. So the fact that they turn everything into 3D just doesn't make a good transition to me. That's just me though. Everybody else actually really like these kinds of graphics and character models and all that stuff. Anyways, yeah, that's how a PSP game plays like on this thing. So I actually have a lot of good PSP games in here, like Darkstalkers, Street Fighter 3 Max, and all of these. This right here is indie games, T Cross K. It was made by the same guy who made Tempest 2000 on the Atari Jaguar. If you have played that game before, it's basically Tempest but under a new name. So and it's a really fun puzzler too, and I can show you that right now. Now this game is only exclusive on the PlayStation Vita, so the guy was Lamasoft, the developer for this game. Yeah, Lamasoft was going to plan to port this game to the PlayStation 4 and PC, but for some reason Atari found out about it and they completely blocked it. So they have a lawsuit against Lamasoft about this game, and that's one of the reasons why this game never saw release on any other platforms other than the PlayStation Vita here. But I'm just glad that this worked on the TV though, because if it doesn't work on the TV, then the Vita is pretty much the only way to go with this. But I'm glad that it works with the TV. It's pretty much the most addicting game I have on this collection here. So if you look at it, you'll notice it's basically Tempest 2000. A much more updated version of Tempest 2000. Yeah, I also seem to miss all those power-ups. Really fun to just use these stick, huh? Oh, look at that. Just move around pretending that it's an entire stick and you get enjoyment out of it. Look at that. Lots of explosion right there too. That's the beauty of these games. All these visuals and all that stuff. Try not to get seizure out of it though. You see a lot of these vector graphics here. And vector graphics are very wild. It makes my eyes very wild for some reason. Must be my other satisfaction with these kind of graphics. And I love playing the earlier version of this game on the Super Nintendo. I think it was on the Atari collection. They have the original Tempest in there, where it does have these kind of graphics but on a much lower scale. So yeah, you'll see a lot of vector flashiness with these kind of games. And this game doesn't cost that much on the PlayStation Store though. Basically like maybe $10 is all you'll pay for this game. And I say this is pretty much the best $10 I ever got out of it. Yeah, it's a really fun little game here. Space. I love that announcement, huh? I wish I was born in the Atari days so I can play games like this too. But I have never tried the original Tempest at the arcade, so I don't know what that one looks like. It'll probably have the same graphics as this as well. I did try Tempest 2000 though, and not the Jaguar version, but the Sega Saturn version. And that version is pretty much the same thing. But I have to say, if you really want to play this kind of game, Tempest 2000 on the Jaguar is actually the way to go. Tempest on the Super Nintendo is also another way to go. You can also get this on the GBA collection as well. And if you have the Saturn and PlayStation, you can get Tempest 2000 on there too. So yeah, there you go. You can even use the touchpad and do some touch feature with it as well, which I'm doing right now, I think. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all of the games that I want to show you guys with this. So you got some PSOne Classics, some PSP Classics, some Indie Classics, and some Vita Classics. So the key word for all of these games, or for merely this PlayStation Vita TV in general, is some. So you could play some PlayStation Vita games on this thing. You can play some PSOne Classic games on this thing. You can play some PSP Classic on this thing, and you can play some indie games on this thing. So you can't play all of them though. You can only play some, and that's the problem I have with this console, is that you can only play some of everything. And I can understand PSOne Classic, PSP Classics, and Indie Classics. All of those games you can only have some because, well, Sony doesn't have license for everything now, and only some indie developers put their stuff in here. But the one that does not make sense to me are these Vita games. I just don't understand why Sony can't just make all of them to work. And the very fact that you can only play some and not all, it's just not awesome to me. So for me, the letter grade for this little hardware is a C-. It's a C-, not because it's a bad hardware, nah. It's bad because Sony does not handle it very well. Sony purposely made this to be inferior. So if Sony really wants to take care of this and really want to support it, give it some love, they really need to find ways for us to use this with that. Because the way I see it, everything about this console would have done a lot better. It should have done a lot better, actually. Because what Sony is doing is something that Nintendo already done. If you notice, Nintendo released a peripheral or an adapter, and that adapter is called the Game Boy Player. And the Game Boy Player pretty much has almost the same reason as this thing. It allows you to play all your portable handheld games like the Vita here. Plays all your portable handheld GBA games and Game Boy Color games and Game Boy games on your TV like this too. And the way Nintendo do it, Nintendo used that as an adapter rather than the console. So that's a plus on the Vita's PlayStation TV here, is that they release it as a console rather than an adapter, and that really cheapens the price, and that makes it very affordable. But what Nintendo did right with the Game Boy Player is that all of the games on your Game Boy and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance works on the Game Boy Player. There is no compatibility issues. And the fact that Sony tried the same thing and has compatibility issue is just not a really good thing to do. I mean, Sony should find ways to make all of them work. Not only that, but you can tell Sony allows you to use the DualShock 3 and DualShock 4 controller in this thing, but they don't think about the PlayStation Vita. They could have used this as an alternative for a controller too, because the way Nintendo does the Game Boy player, Nintendo not only allows you to use GameCube controllers on that thing, they also allows you to use the Game Boy Advance itself as a controller too, and that really solved all of those compatibility issues. But the way Sony does this, it's almost seems like they don't want you to play these games. And for Rayman Legends to not work with this, for Street Fighter Cross Tekken to not work with this, considering that the console version is pretty much okay, you can pretty much play that game without the touch functionality. Same thing with Mortal Kombat 9 here. And same thing with these nice little 2 Ninja Gaiden game here. I mean, all of these are console ports and remasters, but they hardly ever use those touch functionality. I mean, with Rayman Legend as the exclusion, considering this one you actually do have to use the touch functionality, but all of those other games doesn't really take advantage of the touch functionality of these stuff. So Sony could find ways to make those games work. I just don't get why they don't do that though. And because of that, it's a C-. It's an okay little hardware. Sony could have done a lot with it. The very fact that they already end productions of this hardware here is another thing. They just don't see any faith in it. It doesn't sell at all on any region, so it was already discontinued in Japan because it suffered a lot of sales, and it was discontinued here now too in North America, so, and as well as in Europe as well. So once production ends for this hardware, you're not going to be able to find any of those unless you really look into the used game market. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this PlayStation TV. It's a nice little hardware. To me, it's one of the best, one of the most powerful cartridge-based system ever. I mean, I just don't get why Sony has compatibility issue. I mean, this right here, the PlayStation TV, this little console here, yeah, the PlayStation TV here, this is the very first most powerful cartridge-based console you can ever find, and it's basically is the first little cartridge-based console you could ever find that has compatibility issues. I mean, literally, those clone consoles that I've been reviewing all that time even has better compatibility issues than this PS TV here. And for a clone console like the Super Retro Trio and the Retron 3 to have better compatibility than this PlayStation TV here, it's just not acceptable. It's just not acceptable to me. So Sony, if you see this review, you did this to the PS TV. It would have been a spectacular hardware had you done a lot more than all of this. I mean, come on, Netflix right there, not working on this thing. It's just not acceptable as well. I mean, Netflix works on everything, even on the Wii U. And the way I see it, I think even this hardware outperforms the Wii U as well. Maybe a little bit, but I just don't get why the Netflix does not work in here. It works on the Wii though, and this thing is much more powerful than the Wii. So that's that too. So PlayStation TV is a nice little hardware. Too bad that Sony doesn't support it. The end productions of it, a lot of things does not work on it. Some of your games will work on it. Some of the classic will work on it, and some apps will work on it. But only some, not all. So you have the some in there, but you don't have all in there. So with some and no all, it's not awesome. So I'm Voan, and I'll see you next time on my other review. So that's all I have to say about the PlayStation TV.